Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you like my last video. Please like, subscribe, hit that like button, right? Show the channel some love. Help the channel grow. Listen, I had a video, you should go check it out. I was talking about how the media actually give us the information that we get. You know, a lot of them is biased. Biased to the left, biased to the right. Hey, you can't get around it. You know, the people that work there are people just like you and me. So they're gonna give the news in their own with their own interpretation of it, right? But once upon a time, I saw the head of LA Times. He came out and he said, listen, we're not endorsing anyone. But when he said anyone, normally they endorse the Democratic Party. But he said, you know what? We're not endorsing anyone. We're not going to be biased about in this election. And we want to do things different going forward. Whoo! All hell broke loose. A whole bunch of people quit their jobs. They high-paying jobs just because they are so dedicated in spreading the left-leaning news. They couldn't stand for it and they left. Hey, the show will go on. Now, he's here today. Now, we know the LA fires is happening. But the thing is, the way how these progressives give the news about certain things, they would omit certain things. They usually omit certain things because they don't want the left to look bad. But how I said it before, in the Trump's America, he's making sure he hold all these legacy media people to the fire, right? And this guy right here, he did such a great thing and he stood tall and he said, listen, we're going to just give the news, give the facts, and that's how we're going to do it going forward. Hey, here we are right now. Let's hear what you got to say about what's happening in LA.
With us now, owner and executive chairman of the Los Angeles Times, Dr. Soon Shiong, Dr. Patrick Soon Shiong, whose paper just today released an explosive investigative report on how ill-prepared Los Angeles was for these devastating wildfires. They report, quoting now, Pacific Palisades Reservoir was offline and empty when the firestorm exploded. It's good to see you, sir. Thank you. Never as local news reporting and important reporting needed and more in times like this. When your team of reporters brought you this, that the reservoir was offline and empty, what was your response?
That it's so crazy that we have leaders that are reactive rather than proactive. I mean, it really emphasizes what I tweeted yesterday about issues of competence. And I think that's when we're really concerned. We don't elect people with great operational competence.
Ooh, he said it perfectly. They don't elect people with great operational competence. Ooh, that hit right in here. Like, let me move across. Ooh, right in there, like straight to the heart. Because it's so true. The Democrats, bad with money. The Democrats, bad with planning for disasters, for infrastructural things to keep things running smooth and nice. Ugh. But yet they keep getting voted in. You know why? Because a lot of people who is Democratic vote with feelings, not critically. And that's the problem. This guy right here, he's trying to make a stand and turn his paper around so that way they could, yes, they're going to still have a little left-leaning stuff, but at least it's going to be balanced. And I love the stance he has right now. Now, remember, he didn't have to do this. He's the boss. They already put it out in the paper. Life goes on, right? But he wants the world to know that he's doing what he said he was going to do. That's my kind of people right there. Yeah. Let's continue.
it's never when one thing goes wrong, it's when multiple things goes wrong. We argued last night that what we are seeing is not a failure, but is a success of policies, that the policies that were put in place have led to these events. Is that pretty much how you see it as well?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, right, there's really no surprise that we would have fires. In fact, we lived through a fire just a couple of years ago.
It happens all the time.
So the idea that, for example, we don't create fire breaks, we actually reduce the budget. We actually don't inspect the hydrants. Apparently we'll be doing this investigation of a valve that actually could have actually increased the pressure, the absence of water in the reservoirs. Now you hear all these excuses, and I just heard this excuse about disinformation. I mean, I think that's outrageous when you have thousands of acres burning and 10 people are dead, so at least. So yes, I think the policies were misplaced. We have to ask our questions, where are we spending the money and why? And what is the sort of planning and the logistics skill sets of actually preparing ahead for this?
Wow. Now listen, that's what you call investigative journalism. That was well done. Let's give them a round of applause because they did their job. Go investigate, get the information, bring it to the boss, and he say, job well done. Put it out for the people to know. The next election, people will be informed about what happened. Because this is something Trump always say. People didn't like him because he fired people who was incompetent. The Democrats don't do that. People will mess up and they will just keep them. That's crazy. They will mess up astronomically and he will still keep them. And it happens again. So it's like, why they don't fire people? So now, in a situation like this, usually heads roll. But it's a whole democratic system. No one going to get in trouble. I'm going to say it first. Nothing is going to happen to none of them. If I'm wrong, I'm going to correct myself later. But they track record, everybody just going to keep shifting the blame back and forth. And they're going to come up with a solution. And then they're going to be like, hey, guys, see what we done? And then the Democratic sheep. Oh, I shouldn't be like that. But they're going to be like, all right, we forgive you. Ooh-wee. Let's continue.
$20 billion spent by Governor Newsom on the homeless problem, if you will, their projects in California. The homeless rates went up. I say this respectfully because the best defense against incompetence and these kinds of policies is local news, is tough reporting and asking hard questions and not buying into the policies, certainly not of one-party rule, either Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, put them on blast. The news, journalists, whatever, supposed to be asking questions, so now they're going to always be on their toes, trying to make sure they keep the people happy, keep the people safe, and make better policies. They're right.
Is you're now looking back at how the LA Times operated, say, over the past 5 or 6 years, are you seeing that you all missed stories as well?
Good question.
Well, I got into a little trouble, as I sort of pointed out, prior to the election when I blocked the endorsement of Vice President or President-elect or President wanted to be Kamala Harris. And I think what we have really was a state and now even a organization that was very progressive. And again, I'll get into trouble for that, where we have basically groupthink.
At the paper.
At the paper, at the opinion section, and so I needed to have really what I call critical thought.
Hallelujah.
And to sort of bring it. Now, with this event, we really must investigate.
Yes. So what he was saying, once upon a time, they all of them used to think so much alike. So they was in this echo chamber, and they just and spit out the same nonsense. The opinion side, the journalistic side, the investigative side, everything was biased and more leaning left and favor the left, right? Now that he went with the intention to find people who could think down the center, a little bit right, a little bit left, balanced. As he said, they did some investigative journalism. And that's where they come with the story here. Because, listen, if he didn't do what he said before and make him tell just tell the news, give him the facts and what it is, they might have just omitted this from a big paper where millions of people would have seen it. They would have omitted it or downplayed it. My man.
And that's really the basis of the paper, speaking truth to power.
Yes.
And really investigating the root cause of all these issues and making sure that this doesn't.
Tell me the news. Just tell me the news and I'll feel how I want to feel. Don't tell me lies and make me feel a certain type of way. And then I find out that you bamboozle me. Shh. Listen. I was so happy I came across this because times like this, you get to see that Trump is changing how journalism is done. If he got to sue you to get you right, to fall in line, right? Or he influence you just enough for you to decide, you know what, and reflect on the inside. And a lot of them still fighting. CNN, they still fighting, bringing all these whack jobs to their panel. But hey, Scott Jennings, he keeping up the good fight. And the others, yeah, but eventually they're going to start walking that line. They're going to start walking a little more straight. And maybe, just maybe, me and you, we're going to get the actual news in the future. And we wouldn't have to go scouring the internet to find the real deal. All right? So this was another one. As I always say, I love you guys. See you in the next video. Peace.